Right, today is Sunday the 28th of April.
April's correct.
In Southampton, at the house of Don Cooper, founder, member of the Caribbean community in Southampton. And we're just going to talk about Don Cooper and growing up in Southampton as a young West Indian youth. Yeah, so thank you very much for giving us the time to speak to you today, Don.
That's okay.
So Don, just tell me about obviously where you were born and where, and any other bits of information you'd like to share with us.
Well, I was born in 1953, believe it or not, which is 65 years ago.
Wow.
And I was born in Millbrook, Southampton, on the council estate. Growing up there all my life, mainly apart from when I moved into the inner city area. My parents are from the Windrush generation. When they come over here in the late 40s, early 50s and settled in Southampton, there was quite a big Afro-Caribbean community in Southampton then. A lot of people, a lot of movement, a lot of multicultural people, really. You know, the Indians come a lot later on, obviously, but before then, we used to meet in houses because we didn't have anywhere to meet.
Yeah.
You know, my father had been a founder member of the West Indian Association. He used to meet with other members of the West Indian community in their local houses to discuss the next move forward into getting a club or a place or a facility where they could meet and have their social entertainment evenings.
So you were actually one of the first second generation West Indian people born in Southampton. You were born in 1953.
That's correct.
But not in the not in the Derby Road area, which is where most Caribbean families were.
That's right. My father was over Millbrook.
What was that like growing up in Millbrook?
Very rough. I mean, I was the only black boy in my school.
Right.
So you can imagine what I went through, you know, the racist taunts, the bullying, the things like that, you know. And as I was growing up, I began to realise that I had to find my own identity.
Yeah.
Where I actually came from, my culture, my roots.
Yeah.
And it's only when I started moving in and around the Derby Road area,
yeah,
primarily and living in certain rooms,
yeah,
bed sits, things like that, that I began to realise that the music was a driving force in my life, the reggae music.
Yeah.
Listening to people like Bob Marley, very inspirational. The lyrics that he came with, I was identifying with the struggle of most of the black youth in Southampton at the time.
Mm.
And it was a struggle because we had, you know, when my father died, the West Indian Association became run by, let me say, people that wasn't of the same strength as my father.
Right.
You know, there was a little bit on the weak side.
May I just for the record, if you can give us your father's name?
Winston Cooper.
Winston Cooper.
Winston Cooper,
okay,
yeah.
Right.
Founder member of the West Indian Association.
Yeah.
Now, when he died, there's a lot of things went on in the church. Corrupt people moved in. You know, people that wasn't of the same. Let me say, well, how can I say it?
Mindset.
Mindset, that's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
And my father and that generation, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, the people that took over the club were maybe from the small islands.
Yeah.
You know, there's a big difference between small islanders and Jamaicans.
So small islanders, example being
St Vincent,
Grenada.
St Lucia, things
St.
like
Lucia.
that.
They were all members of the Caribbean community.
Yeah, but
outside.
I think the Jamaicans had more of a strength.
Yeah.
In them.
Yeah. With
the music being a driving force in that.
Yes.
You know, most definitely, yeah.
Yeah. So you grew up in Millbrook in 1953. 1953, even at that time when you were born, were there any West Indian families in Derby Road then?
Only a very few.
Very few.
Very few.
So when...
a lot moved in later on from Bristol and places like that.
So basically there were a lot of people from other towns, rather than coming from Jamaica or the Caribbean directly to Southampton.
Yeah.
There's a lot of movement of people from London and Bristol to Southampton.
Yeah, that's right.
So, I mean, at what age did you start going down the Derby Road area?
I was about 15, 14, 15.
So before, up to the age of 15, all your friends were white, is that right?
More or less, yes, yes.
And basically you were in Millbrook,
yeah.
you didn't bump into it. So what, so when you were 15, that was 1968.
Yeah.
So what caused you to want to go to Derby? Had you ever been before in your youth, or what?
Yeah, I have, because when my father was running promotions, because my father was an entertainer, a guitarist.
Right, right.
We used to hire it was called St Luke's Hall then.
Right.
That's at the top of Cranberry Avenue. It's now in Indian Temple.
Oh yes, yes, where the Sikh temple is.
Yeah, the West Indian community used to hire that out on a Saturday night for functions.
Right, right.
And as kids, we used to run around in there, jumping up and down on the stage, as kids do, you know.
So you were familiar with the area, basically?
I was very familiar with the area, yeah, but I didn't really mix with the youths of the area. It's only when I moved down there, you know.
Yeah.
I started to mix with the
and what year did you actually move down there then?
Well, I've been there more or less all my life, but when I moved down there, I must have been about 18.
So that was about 1972, 71.
Yeah.
So what was Derby Road area like in 72, 71? I mean now...
It was really thriving, you know, I mean you had what was the main attraction was the girls.
Right.
They had a lot of girls in the windows, you know, the good time girls.
Yeah, Southampton was known as the red light area.
Very well known for it, Derby Road.
Derby Road's been known around the world. People from abroad have heard of the red light area.
Then Tom, they used to get the American ships in.
Yeah.
They used to get the American sailors.
Yeah.
And what we used to do, groups of us, we used to take the American sailors around, you know, show them the sights. They used to take us back to the ships and feed us and all that. And,
okay.
You know, by then, the blues like Gloria's, Lee Burt's, Joe Powell, Cecil Pick, all them blues was running.
Okay, so for people who don't know what a blues is,
it's a shebeen, it's a late night drinking establishment where music's played.
Owned by West Indians?
Mainly by West Indians, yeah.
Right.
And this was back in the day, of course the Americans used to love it.
Yeah.
You know, because, you know...
After hours they couldn't get a drink.
Couldn't get a drink. I mean, I can remember the military police coming along to get them out, you know. And take them back to the ships, yeah.
So, so by the early 70s, when you were 18, you moved into the Derby Road area. Yeah. Now, my memories, and a lot of people who watch this, their memories of Derby Road, and still now, is when you go into Derby Road, all you see is Asian people.
Yeah.
What was it like? What was it like in the early 70s?
Early 70s, West Indians and Maltese. Maltese were very prominent in the area.
Right. Who owned the shops in the early 70s?
Mainly West Indians and Maltese.
Owned the shops. Like you got those shops like...
The Indians come later.
They came later.
Yeah, they came later on.
Right.
They were the next generation on, you get me?
Yeah. So basically the area was mainly Maltese and West Indian.
Yeah.
And a lot of shebeens and blues happening.
Yeah.
Okay. So as a youngster, if you wanted to go out on a Friday and Saturday night, what would be your typical night in the early 70s?
Typical night? West Indian Club.
Yeah.
On a Friday night and a Saturday night was particularly good.
Yeah.
After that finished at 2, we used to go to the blues all night.
Right. And that
the shebeens all night till 9, 10 o'clock in the morning.
Right. And so who used to play at the West Indian Club when you used to go?
There's a variety of different DJs.
Yeah.
Local DJs mainly, but they wasn't really any good. You understand what I mean? You know.
Right.
They didn't really tap into the youth music that was created around at that time.
Right. What sort of music were they playing when you went there?
A lot of soca, a lot of calypso.
Ah, right.
Whereas the youth were more into the Aswad, the Steel Pulse, rebellious music.
The roots of
reggae.
Rastafarian
music, which is very important.
Yeah.
I mean, if you listen to reggae music, you'll know that it's got a strong theme running through it about God, Jah. A very strong theme, and if you listen to the music and read your good book, which you should do, you'll be able to understand the music a lot more.
Yeah. So basically, they didn't play the music that the younger generation wanted, but so what music did they play in the blues then?
The younger generation music. I mean, you had Imperial Lion, which was a sound system
run by Southampton people.
Yeah, Imperial Lion, which was run by me, Michael Ellis, Ricky Five, Gert Luring, Prince McLean, and a few others, you know.
Right.
Set up Imperial Lion. That's one of the first sounds, and then you had sounds like African Blood,
Yeah.
which was run by a couple of Birmingham guys.
Yeah.
Then you had His Majesty's Youth, which
Yeah.
was Vincent Gentles,
Yeah.
Scratch, all them
Uh-huh.
on His Majesty's Youth.
Yeah.
Then after that you had, I mean, all the time this was running, you had the old time sound systems like Sir Glenn, which was Glennis.
Glennis.
Sir Glenn sound system.
Glennis Brown.
Glennis
These are the older generation who
The
came
older
in the
generation,
50s.
they were the first starting
Yeah.
to play the music in the area.
Yeah.
And then obviously after that you had people like Macca Foundation who come along later on. But
Reggae sound.
Briggy Sound and TC and Wayne Sound, and yet you had them come along and they're still going today.
Yeah, yeah.
I think they're 30, 40 years in the business now.
Yeah, yeah. So so when you started, what year did you start your sound system, Don?
Oh, I can't remember. It was way back.
Are we talking about early 70s?
Early 70s.
Early
yeah.
70s. So to build a sound system,
we had to build our own boxes.
you built your own boxes.
Yeah.
Where did you get
got
your
our
speakers? Where did you get your speakers from?
We got speakers from a guy called Arc Electronics, called Simon.
Okay, yeah. He used to do a lot of the PAs.
Yeah, he used to do a lot of the PAs for Avenue Rockers and things like that, which was a local reggae band.
Yeah.
Quite popular at the time.
Okay, so and so that was the equipment.
Yeah.
But obviously you need the music.
Now we had to go to London for the music.
Any particular shops?
Oh,
Areas?
North London mainly.
Right.
Daddy Cool Records.
Yeah. Daddy
You know,
Cool's was in Soho in London.
Yeah, variety of record shops in and around London just used to sort some music out,
Yeah.
bring them back to Southampton and play them in the blues that night.
Right.
And it was always special bringing back new music to play in the blues because if you can imagine the blues then was packed.
Yes.
A lot of people in, you know, a lot of vibes, a lot of action, a lot of entertainment,
Yeah. Yeah.
very good music.
Yeah. So, so you started the sound system. Music you used to get from London. As a youngster, I mean, I know London people. They had loads of record shops. So before pirate radio started, they would just hang around the record shops to hear the latest music, or they'd go to sound system dances. There used to be a music paper, didn't they, called Echoes?
Black Echoes.
Yeah, which used to have the top 7 inches and the top 12 inches,
That's right,
the top 10. But living in Southampton, how did you know what the latest tunes were?
Black Echoes mainly.
The music
The
magazine,
music magazine.
which
Black
is no
Echoes.
longer available.
No longer available, but it was such a source of good, you know, you get good information out of Black Echoes.
Yeah, because
Latest artists, you know, top selling reggae records.
Yeah, they used to have charts, didn't they?
Charts, yeah. We used to go straight from the charts. Whatever was in the charts, we just used to buy.
Okay, okay.
And I like to say the top 20, we just buy the top 20
Yeah.
and bring them back down to Southampton and play them.
So so anyone who wasn't a sound man, like a young youth in the Derby Road area or in Southampton, they would only hear the latest releases through the sound system.
That's right.
Because there's no pirate radio station,
No pirate radio
record
station,
shop.
nothing like that. The pirate radio stations come along later.
Yeah.
Much
So
later.
obviously it's one thing starting a sound system, it's one thing buying the music, then the main thing is your delivery, how you do the chat, the lyrics. Now, how did you learn your style? Because each sound system has a style. How did you learn the latest talk and how to judge it?
I've never been an MC.
Right.
I've never chatted on a mic on a sound system.
Right.
That was always left to someone else, you know.
Yeah.
My job was mainly the finance
Yeah.
and the driving of the van.
Okay.
You know, that was mainly my job. I mean, we had other people to do the selection
Yeah.
and the chat, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is vital to a sound system. You must have a good MC
Yeah.
and you must have a good delivery as an MC.
So how did sound systems develop their style? Because I mean, who did you copy? Because
Ours was more of a roots band style.
But how did you get that roots band style? Were there sound tapes available of other sounds? How did you learn how other sounds in bigger cities?
We
like
used to
London?
go there. We used to travel a lot to other cities and towns.
Right,
I
right.
mean, we used to go all over the north of England, Sheffield, Manchester, travelling from Southampton to London a lot, Bristol a lot.
To reggae dance.
To reggae dances, Saxon, Coxon,
Yeah.
you know, all the big sounds we used to go and see.
Yeah.
You know, and eventually we managed to get a few of the artists down here in Southampton.
Right. I see. Right, sorry about that.
That's all right.
Live recording.
Yeah.
So, the Saxons, the Coxons, the V-Rockets, the
John Ambassador from Birmingham was a good sound.
Mo Ambassador, yeah.
Jungle Man sound.
Jungle Man, yeah.
All good sounds.
So you basically went to the bigger cities,
Yeah.
saw how they played,
and come
and
back.
that's how you learned how to play a sound.
That's
how
right.
to talk, how to introduce the music.
That's right.
Because there was no sound tapes in those days.
No sound tapes in those days.
No videos.
No
nothing.
videos.
Yeah.
Nothing like that.
Okay.
This is going back before social media and everything.
Yeah. So that's how you obviously started your sound system. Now, obviously, there must have been rivalries.
Of course, there was always rivalry. that was the art, the rivalry. That's what it was all about.
Yeah.
You know, you kill a man, sound dead.
Yeah.
You know.
Sound for dead. We'll murder you with tune. Right. So there was a lot of rivalry. Then.
A lot of rivalry, yeah.
Okay. And any memorable clashes? I mean, you played in the blues. Were there any sound clashes?
We didn't have any sound clashes. We were just playing local sound, which wasn't very good.
Right.
You know, didn't even have a name, just trumped up DJs really.
Yeah.
You know, because our sound was heavy.
Yeah.
You know, there was a hall down the road here called the Idem.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you've heard of it, the Idem Hall.
Never heard of it.
Down by Chancery Hall now. We used to play in there.
Right.
Before it closed down. This is going back years now, you know, it's going back a long way. I mean, I've got flats now where the building was.
Yeah.
They built flats on it.
See, and so so there weren't any big clashes.
Not in Southampton, no.
Southampton. So you played in the blues with the sound system, and and what you mentioned the St Luke's Church. Did you guys ever play in any other venues apart from the blues?
No.
It was always the blues.
It was always the blues. Yeah, it was a blues sound.
Yeah, and which blues did you play in mainly?
Well, we had the candy shop, what we call the candy shop. That was a good setting for a blues.
Right.
We used to play in there quite regular. That was on St Mary's Street.
St Mary's Street.
Yeah.
And whose blues was that?
It was it wasn't a regular Southampton. It was a Bristol man's blues. A Bristol guy used to run it.
Okay.
You know, but we used to play in there on a regular basis.
Okay, so he was.
We had a lot of people coming from Bristol. I mean, Gloria
Yeah.
was coming then, Tom, and there's a lot of older generation West Indians.
Yeah.
You know, in and around that time as well.
Yeah.
Of course, most of them are past now.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about a generation lost.
Yeah.
You know.
So in any one particular night, how many blues could you choose to go to?
4 or 5.
4 or 5. Wow, there was that many.
4 or 5.
And mostly in which area were they?
In the area, in the Derby
Road area.
Yeah, everyone used to hire a house or,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Okay.
Sometimes you didn't even know where the blues was to the last minute.
Word of mouth.
Word of mouth, yeah.
And which were the most popular blues? Which were the most well attended, would you say?
Over the years, I'd have said Liebert's, Gloria's were most well attended.
Gloria's was on Buller Street.
Gloria's was on Buller Street, that's very well attended.
That was a terrace house.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. And Liebert's, his was...
Underground Cellar.
Underground Cellar. Which road was that on?
Oh, is it Hartington?
Is it St Albans Road?
St Albans Road,
opposite where the
Northumberland pub was, yeah.
Okay, what a brilliant setting.
And what a place that was, the Northumberland pub back in the day.
Yeah, I was going to
absolutely incredible. Everything went on there.
So,
I mean, you had a sound system playing in the Northumberland pub on a Friday and Saturday night.
Yeah, that's what I was going to come to, because we jumped to the blues, but I wanted to take a step back and say, the beginning of the evening, you're all dressed up, it's Friday, Saturday.
We're in the pub, we're in the Northumberland pub.
So the pub was the first place to...
First focal point, yeah.
And which was the main West Indian pub which had the most
Northumberland pub.
Northumberland pub on Northumberland Road.
Pub on Northumberland Road,
right,
yeah.
that was where most West Indian people used to go.
Yeah, that's correct, yeah.
Okay, and who used to own that?
Indian called Reggae.
Reggae, okay, yeah.
There was also the Glebe, which was run by Henry Grosset, I believe.
Right, and that was, where was that?
That was at the top of the area.
Top of Derby Road?
Yeah.
Right.
Top of the area, the Glebe, yeah.
So those two were the main pubs, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, what would happen if, you didn't go to those pubs and you went to other pubs, why were those pubs in particular?
The music.
Right, because of the music.
Because of the music, yeah.
And the crowd.
Reggae music.
Yeah.
So the crowd was mixed race, mixed white and black.
Yeah, so you don't feel any kind of...
No.
I mean, so you'd start your evening in the Northumberland or the Glebe, and then after that, where would you head?
West Indian Club.
West Indian Club. And that was in the area.
Yeah, that was the church, yeah.
That was the church, which no longer exists now. So.
No, because the corrupt people moved in and robbed all the money. Instead of trying to leave it to the youth, they just helped themselves, you know, but that's another story.
That's another story. So you would then go to the West Indian Club, and you obviously listened to the local... Which DJs were playing at the West Indian Club, just out of interest?
Like I said, there's a variety of different DJs.
Were there any resident DJs?
There wasn't any real resident. Radcliffe was one of the resident DJs.
Radcliffe.
Well, that's an older Radcliffe. It's not what they call. There's a younger Radcliffe running around now, but he's a DJ, but it's not him.
Oh, okay, so
yeah. But, yeah, he wasn't very good either. He used to play the same records every week.
Right. Okay.
Bore everybody to tears.
All right. So that was the West Indian Club. So then, obviously, that would close at 2.
Yeah.
And you said they mostly play soca in there.
Yeah, and calypso.
Yeah. Just out of interest. Northumberland pub, who used to play in there at the beginning of the night?
There was a guy from Bristol, what was his name? Sir Dees, is it? The problem with me is I suffer from a lot of memory lapses, a lot of memory problems, which I had, you know, it's a long story, but I do suffer from memory problems. But yeah, that was a good start to the night in the Northumberland pub. Can't really remember what DJ...
But it was at Bristol and out of town?
Bristol out of town, yeah.
Okay.
Most definitely, yeah.
So that was the beginning of the night, and then the West Indian Club was up until what 2 o'clock?
Yeah.
And that's where 2 o'clock is what time people get warmed up.
Yeah, exactly.
So basically, after that...
Straight to the blues.
Straight to the blues. Where you could, and obviously you mentioned sound systems play there like yours, Vincent Gentle's, Vince's sound. You had
Patrick Get a High Power.
Patrick Get a High Power. Any other sounds you can remember? You mentioned Glennis Brown's sound as well, didn't you?
Yeah, Sir Glenn.
Sir Glenn. But those were the main sounds that played?
Those were the main sounds, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Patrick played every week in Glorious because that's his mum.
Yeah. Yeah, Ghetto High Power.
Ghetto High Power, and there was a good sound.
Yeah, yeah.
They played a lot of good music. They had a good following as well.
Yeah. So these blues, they'll be made up of local people.
Yeah.
And did you get any
people from out of town
would come up?
Would come up. Yeah, a lot of Londoners used to come up and cause trouble.
So they'd heard of the Southampton.
Yeah, they'd come to the West Indian Club, and the word soon spread. Because remember, the West Indian Club, we were getting coaches down from other towns to do dominoes.
Domino dances.
Domino dances, yeah.
From
the older generation, and from there the word spread that, you know, Southampton is a good town for raving, which it was.
Yeah. So you had lots of London rude boys come down.
Yeah.
And they would end up at the blues as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Trying to take all the girls away. Back to London blues.
Back to London blues. And was it just London, or did you have from elsewhere?
Bristol. A lot from Bristol.
I keep on hearing Bristol time and time again.
Yeah, Bristol. We had a lot of links with Bristol.
A
hell of a lot of links with Bristol.
Yeah, and because some of the guys who are established members of the community
down here,
little did I know until recently that they actually came from Bristol.
Prince and just two.
Yeah.
They came from Bristol originally.
Yeah.
Because Gloria came from Bristol originally.
Yeah. So the community is made up partially of a lot of people who moved to Southampton.
That's right.
So you would then basically go to the blues, a lot of out-of-town people, Bristol, London. What was the racial makeup of the blues?
Mainly black.
Mainly black, and the women?
Women mainly white.
Women mainly white, men mainly black.
Yeah.
Okay. So was there a lot of mixed relationships in Southampton?
Very much so.
Yeah. West Indian men were popular.
Very much so, yeah.
Did you sense there was any resentment about that from the wider community? Or was
there was a lot of resentment. A hell of a lot of resentment.
Right.
I mean, we went through bloody hell.
Right.
You know, just like the woman went through hell as well.
Yeah.
You know, mixed race in them days, you know what I mean? It wasn't as popular as it is today.
Yeah.
You know, it was a bit still frowned upon.
So if they saw a black man and a white woman, it wasn't liked.
It wasn't good.
And these girls that came to the blues and formed relationships with local West Indian guys in the Derby Road area and beyond, they were from the area, or were they attracted to the area from outside?
They was attracted to the area from afar, from outside.
Okay.
And they came into the area like we'd meet at a West Indian club, or there'd be a club uptown where we'd go,
Yeah.
like Peggy Sue's or somewhere like that.
Yeah.
And we'd meet the girls there and then bring them back to the blues.
So was there a fondness for black men in the 70s and the 80s?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Apart from the police.
Okay.
The police were the worst.
Okay.
They were the terrorists.
Okay. So, I mean, you mentioned going uptown, you mentioned Peggy Sue's, I remember Peggy Sue's. Did black people, young black males in the 70s and the 80s, did they used to try to venture uptown to dance in what they call the discos in those days?
Yeah, I mean, I was the one, I didn't really care because I came from uptown, I come from Millbrook, you get me?
Yeah.
So when I was going in and out of the clubs, race to me wasn't a factor.
Yeah.
I didn't look at it as black or white or anything, I just looked at it as me going in there, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't look at it as me as a black man going in there.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I looked at it as just me going in there, you know, so...
Yeah, but did a lot of the people, for a lot of the
guys wouldn't go to town because there's a lot of racists up there.
Right, what they would pick fights on
yeah,
you? Or you wouldn't be allowed into clubs? What was the
mainly not being allowed in the clubs. They'd always come up with some excuse to get me the bouncers, you know.
Your shoes aren't shiny enough.
Yeah.
You were
drunk and you didn't have a drink yet.
Yeah.
Same old, you know.
So you're all dressed up.
Trials and tribulations. So we had to go to areas of blues and places like that where we could actually enjoy ourselves, you know.
Yeah, without any trouble.
Without any hassle, without any trouble.
What about physical intimidation?
Well, the police were the ones with the physical intimidation and the verbal intimidation mainly as a gang.
Yeah. What were they? What
they was terrible. They was absolutely terrible.
What were their method? How did these situations arise?
Well, mainly, I mean, the stop and search didn't help.
Right. So you used to get a lot of stop and search outside the area of Derby Road?
Well, when I was driving my car, I got stopped so many times it wasn't worth driving it.
Right.
Yeah, so every minute I'll be getting stopped. You know, most of us around here.
Yeah.
You know.
And what would be the reason for stopping you?
Any old excuse. But we all knew the real reason because we were black and we were driving nice cars.
Right, so they saw a black man in a nice car.
And that was it, that's enough for them to say, oh yeah, he's this, he's that, he's this, he's that.
Yeah. So it was more subtle, it wasn't like calling you racist names or beating you up?
Well, I got beaten up a number of times in Southampton at the police station.
Right.
Especially, I can remember one year, 1983, I got a terrible beating in there.
For what was the reason for that?
They called me Black Bastard, Pimp, Wog, Jungle Bunny, Coon.
Right.
I just tried to beat the shit out of me.
And there was no recourse to taking legal action?
Institutional racism wasn't, it was widely accepted in England like it is now.
Right. So that obviously coupled with, I mean, what about the intimidation from the wider community if you went uptown?
Well, it's a lot of pressure on your head, isn't it? You know, you can imagine you don't feel safe at all anywhere you go.
Yeah.
And not feeling safe is a horrible thing.
Yeah. Well,
you know, feeling threatened, feeling intimidated, feeling like you're going to be violently attacked at any minute.
That was the police, but what about, like, people mentioned the skinheads back in the day and, you know, the wider community? Were there a lot of racial attacks on black people?
Well, the black people the population started to thin out for some reason. A lot of people started to leave Southampton. A lot of the older generation started to leave Southampton.
What decade was this?
Let's say 90s, late 90s, 2000.
So late 90s, 2000.
Yeah. A lot of people have passed away, obviously, of course. I mean, I've been to many funerals down here.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, looking at it today, there's no community. There's nowhere for black people to meet or greet.
Yeah, because the West Indian Club is shut down.
West Indian Club is shut down.
The pubs in the Derby Road area, the Queensland and the Northumberland.
Both shut.
Yeah.
Well, you've got the King Alfred, the Glebe, where the Glebe was, that's shut. There's no pubs at all for black people. There's no music being played anywhere.
Right, so there's no West Indian
club? There's
no pub?
There's nowhere to go, absolutely.
Right, so whereas you had meetings, and the Shebeens all closed down
all closed
in the 90s?
All closed down.
Right, so yeah. So
I mean, it's a lost generation, really, when you think about it. You know.
And the younger generation, like your sons and...
Yeah, there's a lot of them here. There's loads here. You know, I mean...
Like Craig David, for example, is obviously the most famous third generation part of the community that came out of Southampton. But people of his generation, They obviously don't live in the same area now, do they?
No, they all moved around.
They've all moved around. Now that generation, do they actually know each other? Do they hang around with each other?
They do. They do.
So even though they're scattered around Southampton,
they do know each other, because a lot of them used to live on St Mary's here, Golden Grove, Mandela Way.
Yeah.
They're all integrated. They're all integrated. All know each other.
Yeah.
You know, the kids. We know all the kids.
Right.
But like I said, there's nowhere. I mean, this is one of the reasons why I formed the Southampton Afro-Caribbean Youth Association back in the day.
Right.
It was an association that was to help the youths.
Was that called Sakia?
Sakia, yeah, I founded that. Yeah.
You founded that. And
Yeah.
What year did you found that? 80s, 70s?
80s.
80s.
Yeah. Late 79, 80, 81.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay.
And that was generally to help the youths.
Yeah.
You know, but true, we didn't get any funding.
Yeah.
Because they said, oh no, they can't give it to him, we can't give it to them because they're going to rob the money and all that, and they're not going to use it for what they wanted it for.
Yeah, yeah.
So they didn't give us any funding or anything.
Uh-huh.
And yet the council were giving thousands of pounds to the Indians.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, for their temples.
Yeah.
And all that, giving them thousands.
But they weren't giving any.
But they neglected totally black people, of black English people.
Yeah.
You know, totally neglected us.
Right.
Which led to a lot of resentment.
Yeah.
Because you've got to remember, these are mainly white men. Politicians, councillors, police.
What was their reason to treat Asian people differently to black people?
I don't know, I think it was because obviously the Asians had their little shops, they was all working and all that, but the Asian youngsters, their second generation, they were terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, they were really bad.
Yeah.
You know.
So they were basically doing the same things as other generations of kids would do.
Mm.
Okay, so the council didn't really offer the funding.
Not at all, they didn't care.
Right.
And then when we went to the West India Club itself, well, I say the West India Club, by then it's the Afro-Caribbean Association.
Yeah.
We got turned down for money again.
Right.
Because they tried to spend it on their houses and their cars, and you know,
yeah.
which was what they were doing, which is why the community collapsed.
Yeah, so because you've mentioned the meeting places, beginning of the night would be the pubs like Northumberland and Queensland and Glebe, they've closed down. Then the middle of the night was the West Indian Club, closed down. Then the end of the night would be the Blues, and they've closed down.
Yeah.
So there's no meeting place.
Nothing, nowhere to go.
Right. What about religious institutions? Like you had black churches in London and Bristol and Birmingham.
Well, we've only had one black church down here. That's the New Testament Church of God.
Yeah.
In Priory Road in St Denny's.
In St Denny's, and that's
the only black church we've had, and that's been there for years, donkey's years.
And when you were young, they used to do Sunday schools, I understand.
Sunday schools, yeah.
Yeah. Did a lot of the youths go to that in the 70s?
Yeah, because they were forced to by their parents.
Okay.
And the parents went, so they went.
So that's where, even if you weren't living in the Derby Road area, you would meet other black kids.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's how you got to know people.
Yeah.
Okay, so you had those religious institutions, that still is running, the black church is still running, St. Denny's.
It's still there, yeah, but I haven't been there for a while, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
What I do, I go to the new church. You know, the church for the West Indian Club, it's been bought by the church.
Right.
By the Lighthouse International Church.
Right.
They've just done it up, put a brand new roof on there, which costs £100,000. They've totally gutted the inside of it.
Yeah.
But we're raising more money to do the actual inside because the whole floor needs to come up.
Yeah.
The electrics all need to be put in, new toilets, new kitchens.
So the West Indian Club has been taken over by the Lighthouse
International Church.
International Church, and that will be used as a church.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so that's what's happened to the West Indian Club.
Yeah.
So, okay, there were these struggles. We know what the situation is now, and we know what the situation was like when you were a youth, okay? But there's a middle bit. When the area was still running in the 80s and 90s, you and a few other people did things to try to make Southampton on a par with other big cities. One of the things was a radio station.
Yeah, most definitely, yeah.
Yeah, so Southampton did try to do a radio station, is that right?
People's Choice radio station.
Yeah.
Very popular radio station. Thousands of people tuning in every night.
Yeah.
Brilliant music, different DJs.
Yeah.
Went to the council for a permanent building or a permanent base.
Yeah.
Done a lot of research, done a lot of work, and they turned us down again. The reason being, I know, is because we was black trying to run it.
So it was a black.
It was a black orientated radio station.
Playing
Yeah.
what, reggae?
Reggae, soul,
Yeah.
a variety of different music.
And what year did you try to start this radio station?
Well, it was Jimmy John that first started it.
Jimmy John, yeah.
He'd be able to give you more information about the actual start of it and how.
Were we talking about 80s, 70s?
We're talking about 90s, isn't it?
90s?
I think we're talking about more the 90s and the 80s.
What, early 90s?
Early 90s,
Right.
yeah.
So you and a few other people, Jimmy John, tried to start what started off as a pirate radio station.
Yeah.
I actually know this because I was studying in Southampton when I met you as a student.
Okay.
Yeah, don't tell anyone, but I used to broadcast on that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember listening to PCRS.
Yeah, a very good station.
Yeah, yeah.
Very popular, brilliant DJs.
Where did you?
A lot of knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, I know where you used to broadcast, but for the viewers, just so they know, where did you get the equipment and where did you first start broadcasting from?
Well, we first started broadcasting at Jimmy's place in Manchester Road, Shirley.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Jimmy was the fundamental driver of the radio station.
Yeah.
He brought a transmitter down from London that you need to broadcast.
Yeah.
You know, the transmitter.
Yeah.
He brought that down from London and we just went from there.
Right.
You know.
And so you had local community people.
Yeah, I mean, we was getting, to raise money, we used to go to the local Indian shops.
Yeah.
And say, we can get your shop mentioned on the radio.
Yeah.
If you give us a little, you know, give us a little something, you know.
So all the Indian shops
And
on
we'd
the
actually, we'd actually do it in the shop.
Okay.
So it'd come out on the radio,
Yeah.
the radio there in the shop, they were totally gobsmacked, you know.
So you had what, international foods, Ram store?
Yeah, we had one was at the fire station, we had quite a few of them, yeah.
So you'd go in there and just record an advert.